benefits, and she taxes people if they don't have healthcare benefits. She wants to tax you if it's spring, if it's summer, if it's fall, if it's winter. She wants to tax you when the tide comes in, and as Chuck DeMore told you, she wants to tax you every time you take a breath. We do not need those types of politicians. Climate change is trying to use Article 6 of our Constitution to undermine all of our freedoms. Article 6 says that a foreign treaty becomes the supreme law of the land. And it overwrites all of our rights in the Constitution. And that's why foreign governments want to engage in a climate change treaty with us. Because they know they can take our land, they can take our freedoms, and they can take our rights. And that's why our farmers in the valley are having so much trouble. Because the Endangered Species Act is based on 5 treaties that happened before it to protect the fish, to protect the birds. Ladies and gentlemen, our Constitution says, we the people. It does not say, we the fish. Last year I went up to the Central Valley and I got involved in the Tea Party movement. So I like to say that I'm the Tea Party candidate in the Republican Party. Because I went out and I started doing things. And I was one of the Tea Party members, Leslie Eastman, showed me how to blog. So I went up to the Central Valley and I started interviewing our farmers. And I asked them, who do they blame for this? And if you go to my website, Underwater, you can see the video where I took. And the gentleman's name is Joe Freitas. And he's a 3rd generation farmer, and he's passed his farm down to his son, 4th generation farmer. And when I asked him that question, he said to me, I blame myself. Because we just allowed politicians to get into power to push these laws on us, and I'm losing my farm. And you can look at that interview. And after, he said we became too complacent. After I turned the camera off, he looked at me and he broke down. And he started crying. And he said, you know, I'm a Vietnam veteran. And he said, I saw men die for this flag, and I can't believe what my country is doing to me now. And after he said that, I knew that I had to keep going on. And I had to keep fighting for the people of this state. So I went to Sacramento for the Tea Party. I went up to challenge Arnold Schwarzenegger. And we kept doing the blog. And just recently, because of all the uproar about the water issues, Judge Wanger lifted partially for 2 weeks the restrictions on the pumping in the Delta. And those pumps up in the Delta, by the way, are used to fill our reservoirs during the rainy season. So when they don't fill the reservoirs in the rainy season, it creates shortages of water. Now, if you have water bills going up, it's because your government is cutting off their water supplies. So we need to stop that. The other issue is oil. As Ken mentioned, the oil creates wealth. Oil creates jobs. We get geologists, we get engineers, we get riggers, we get machinists, we get accountants, we get clerks. If we develop our oil resources, we will increase economic activity the same way if we turn our water back on to our farmers, we will increase economic activity. I'd like to point out one big difference between myself and my opponent over there on the far end. She says she can make AB 32 work. She'll suspend it for a year, but she says we still have to control greenhouse gas emissions. We don't need to control greenhouse gas emissions. Carbon dioxide is the clean air of the Clean Air Acts. We want greenhouse gases. They're clean. Carbon is used to filter impurities out of our atmosphere. That is the deception that has been going on. And that is what she offers us. And this last Monday, I went up to her opening of her Orange County office. And I see there's someone over here in the audience who was there also, Alexander Foster. And when we were there, Meg made her people wait. She made people wait for an hour and a half in the cold, and people started leaving. And I walked out with them. But Alexandra came up. And Alexandra went in there and said, aren't you people tired? Aren't you people tired of waiting for Meg to show up? And the people in that crowd and Meg's security guards roughed her up. So Alexandra, I want to salute you for standing up for us. We don't need thugs telling us that we can't speak. We have freedom of speech. We have freedom of religion. We have the right to bear arms. We have to not be complacent anymore. We have to stand up for our rights. And every place I've gone, as I've gone throughout this state, more and more people are saying to me, how can I get involved in the Tea Parties? How can I come out there? Because people know the truth. You heard Chuck DeBoer talk about it. People know inside that our government has gotten too big and too powerful. We need to stop illegal immigration. We need to cut off the financial incentives that bring illegal immigrants across our border. We need to end the bank bailouts. I'm not sure if you realize it, but right now, banks are incentivized to create short sales. And they're incentivized because they take money from the FDIC to cover the losses. So if they make a short sale, they're not losing any money. They're actually making you, the taxpayer, pay for it. That's just like alternative energy. 20 times more expensive than fossil fuels, and the government subsidizes it. Well, that makes the taxpayer pick up all the losses. We can't do this. This is what is causing our debts. This is what's causing our deficits. We have to get back to more common sense leadership in Sacramento and Washington. And the reason that I am running for governor is because I will stand up for our values, I will stand up for our rights. And I know that California leads the nation. So if you elect me and you send me to Sacramento, I will stand up for you and I will stand up for your rights. The same way I stood for the farmers last year, the same way I stood on that podium last July 4th and challenged Al Gore and challenged Governor Schwarzenegger and challenged the President of the United States. I have just two other things. People ask me, how are you going to defeat Meg and all of her money? Well, if it's a $5 or $10 contribution from every Tea Party person in this state, people who identify with it, that issue goes away. The other question they ask me is, how are you going to get name recognition? Well, I'm the Italian on the ballot. Everybody likes Italians. De Niro, Pacino, Stallone, Travolta, DiCaprio, Scorsese, Naritelli. Now my name is a little bit difficult too because it's got all the L's and R's in there. So it's a little bit of a tongue twister. But it rolls pretty nice once you say it. Larry Naritelli. Can I get everybody to say Larry Naritelli? Who's going to be the governor that